Sup, bitches? Welcome back.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome back to the Sassy Spiritual Bs podcast.
Ooh, that was one of my favorite welcomes.
Right?
I like that. Sassy.
Sassy. Sassy Spiritual Bitches. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, right on. I'm glad to be back. I'm feeling way better than last time.
Yeah.
Like last time, yeah.
What did you call yourself? The Hot Mess Express?
Oh, yeah. And I was. I mean, I still kind of on that roller coaster, but at least I didn't spend all morning crying.
Sweet.
We're getting places.
Hashtag growth.
Oh, God.
I mean,
What
give
the
yourself
fuck?
some slack, though. We're in Cancer season now, so it's all about the emotions and
This is the first year I have ever noticed when seasons change. And it's like, I am not an astrologer. I don't know anything about anything. Like, I have pieces, I guess. But, like, all of a sudden, I'll be like, what the fuck was that? You feel like you get hit by a lightning bolt or something of new energy. And then all you're like, oh, new season. And it's exactly, you know what I mean? It's exactly what the season is characterized by. I hate Taurus season, fuck you. And I hate Cancer season, also fuck you.
you know what my worst is?
What?
Gemini season.
Oh, really?
Gemini season can suck it, in my opinion.
Why? What happens to you in Gemini season?
I just am bitchy.
Mm.
Like, I'm just not even, like, I'm just I'm unnerved, maybe is the better word.
Ooh.
Like, I'm just always, like, very, like, nails on a chalkboard. Like, just,
Ooh. That's not good.
Yeah.
Taurus season is way too heavy for me. It's like, isn't it like the most earthy, grounded, heavy hitting, like human one? Like human one?
See,
Physical.
I'm good in Taurus season. Pisces season just before it, though. Like
I know Pisces are like, get a bad rep, but like, oh, fuck, I'm just really allured to them. Give me a Pisces and I'll probably have a crush on you. Like, they're like all mysterious. But then I actually dated a Pisces and it was like bad news. It was real bad news.
Well, fire and water? Yeah, I can see how that would be bad news.
Oh my God. You guys want to hear a story?
Yes, always.
Okay, and I don't know if you guys know what I look like. I'm 5'2". I'm a little pipsqueak. I'm tiny, okay? Like size-wise. And I'm dating this fucking Pisces guy who's 6'2", humongous dude. And, oh, fuck that guy. So we're going to, he was an alcoholic too. Let's just go. We have to get this. He's an alcoholic. So we're coming to the end of the relationship kind of, and I'm like done with his shit.
And how old are you at this point?
I'm 19 probably.
Oh.
So I'm like kind of young. So
yeah.
Maybe that's good for the story. Otherwise you guys think I'm crazy. So I'm 19. We're going to the lake. It's May long. We're going to drink and party and throw down. And he wasn't coming. And I was like, I'm only going if this dude's not going. Because he would always get way out of hand. And we would have like shitty fights when he drank. Because he was blacked out. So I was like, yeah, I'm only going to go if he's not going. So he said he wasn't going. And I was like, all right. And then all of a sudden he jumps in last minute. He's like, I'm not going to drink though. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go home. Like, I know this is a recipe for disaster. I'm not going. And then I wasn't even mad. I was just like, I'm not dealing with this. So anyway, he's like, no, I won't drink. Meanwhile, we're in this van of people going to the lake to party. And he's drinking shot for shot like a bottle of whiskey. So by the time we got there, and I didn't know because I was in the front seat. He was in the back tier. He was like, he fell out of the vehicle. Like he was like already blacked out. And I was mad, and I was like, I'm not dealing with you. I'm like, I'm just going to ignore you. But then I was standing over on the other side, minding my business, and he stumbles right in front of my feet. And the Aries, the anger, the fire, I fucking kicked him in the ribs, you guys. And he didn't know who it was. So he's like fighting me. Like we got into a literal fight. But anyway, he was so drunk, and the police came, and they like fucking threw me into the bush, basically, and arrested him.
Nice.
This is a classic lake story for people my age, though. But anyway, the rumor mill had turned out, because there's a lot of people there, that some little white girl beat up this humongous indigenous man, because that was who he was, and that was running around the town. And my mom heard it because she manages a gas station, so she had a lot of people that were like younger. And she's like, yeah, this little white girl kicked this shit out of this guy. And then I was like, my mom's like, holy fuck. I think that was my daughter. And yeah, anyway, I even gave him a scar. That's how that was.
That's awesome.
So anyway, I'm allured to you Pisces people, but holy man. We don't really go get together.
No. Yeah, fire and water. Definitely probably not the best.
No. And you know what, though? In my chart, there's a lot of earth, which I thought would make me better at Taurus season. I couldn't get out of bed. I just wanted to lay around and eat. Like, all the, like, really, I don't know. It was just a hot mess. I couldn't do anything. All of my routines died. It was too much energy. I couldn't even move my body. I was like, I don't want to get out of bed. It's too heavy.
Oh, weird. No, Taurus is usually okay for me. But yeah, Gemini, fuck Gemini.
What else? Is anything coming down the pipes? I don't even want to know. I just want to assume everything else is awesome. No more hard signs. I'm over it.
Well, I mean, for you, probably not.
Yeah.
Because what we got? Leo, Virgo.
Oh, yeah. And me and Leos are besties, right?
Yeah.
Me and you. I am a Virgo on the inside, so that's going to be all right.
And then we got Libra, which everything's just kind of like, okay, let's get a nice balance here.
All right, I'll take that.
I mean, there might be quite a bit of indecision there, but I'm okay with it. Then we got Scorpio season and Sag season.
Right. When's Capricorn?
That's right after Sag.
Okay. I apparently am perceived as a Capricorn. That's my rising.
So Capricorn is what? December 20th or 21st to
right,
January.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, I think I can ride out the rest of this year, I hope.
Yeah. Scorpio, I find, season can go
I'm kind of excited to see
either way, but I like Scorpio season personally. And you know what's funny is I always thought that Cancer season for me would be rough, but it usually isn't. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm a Cancer rising.
Probably.
Because everyone around me right now, it's just
falling apart.
It's like, they're so emotional and they're just like, oh my God. And I'm like, really, you guys? Like, I don't knock on wood, but I feel fucking fantastic emotionally.
What? Just start. And I've had 2 crying breakdowns.
Yeah.
One of them was last week's episode, right before that.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like Wednesday when the episode came out. Yeah. Yeah. But I had a little breakdown and I went and like hung out. I was like, I'm going to go to like the lake and have a little picnic by myself because I just like need to. And then you know what? I seen 2 owls.
Which is so cool.
Which was like the best experience of my life. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this omen is or what these owls mean. But I was like, right.
Did you look that up?
I did. It was, pretty spot on. It was something about like getting over your earthly problems and like setting yourself free.
Oh yeah.
Because, they're kind of in between the world, they're,
yeah.
And they're very wise. I don't know. It was really like bang on.
Sweet.
Wisdom, emotional stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever. I get it.
And they're kind of predatory birds. So it's like attack your life and get your shit in order maybe.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
For sure. But they also felt like they weren't being aggressive. They were just like really seeing and all seeing. And we're kind of just like, we see you, we know you're going through it, but like, let's move on with the program here.
Yeah. I totally feel like owls and birds, well, not all birds, but like crows, ravens, and owls.
Eagles.
Yeah, and hawks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can jump dimensions.
Oh, 100%.
Like I just know it. Like they live in 2 different places.
Oh, for sure.
And they can pop in and out like nobody's business.
Yeah, and I'm actually curious. So crows don't live here in the winter, but has anyone ever seen them migrate? They definitely just like jump dimensions.
I see them in the winter all the time.
Are you sure? I feel like they don't live here. Yeah, crows.
I swear to God, I see them in the winter all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
That's really weird, though, if they're not supposed to, because I literally see them all the time in the winter. Weird.
Oh, it says they just choose if they want to stay or not. So they're probably some around and some migrate. But like, there's a whole bunch that live in our backyard, and they are not around in the winter. So obviously, we have some migrator birds in the back. And I'm like, has anyone ever fucking seen crows migrate? Like, what the hell? They just jump dimensions. Like, I will just reappear in Alabama.
Yeah, I think they do. You know what's fucking weird though? Yesterday, I don't even know what kind of birds they are around here. Little songbirds anyway. I was sitting outside. I got up at 5, did my normal routines, let the dogs out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's nice out, before it gets too hot. Because we're having a heat wave where we are right now, by the way.
It's so hot.
And I'm like, I'm loving it. But I'm like, before it gets too hot to like sit outside. I'm going to take my coffee and I'm going to sit outside on my deck and I'm going to read my book. Cause like,
yes,
I'm going to do this. So I did, but the birds, these little birds were going fucking psycho. Like they were diving and like all you heard was these very loud, like their wings, like, you know,
Whoa.
and I was like, what is happening? And they were like chirping at each other. And it was like they were in a frenzy. And I'm going, okay, like, is there a storm coming I don't know about or what? But it was just, and then I heard other birds kind of going weird, not like right above me like they were, but like you could hear them around. And I'm going, what are they warning about?
Yeah, totally.
Like, it just seemed so fucking ominous that I was like,
crazy.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Birds are the best. I love birds.
But I was like, okay, well. Then they calmed down and I was like, okay, well, if they come back and they're like even more frantic, I'm going inside because I don't know what the fuck's happening right now.
For real. If you ever get a reading sent to you from me, there's always at least one or two crows just fucking cawing in the background so loud. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess this is a really important part. Like, listen up, guys. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because normally the crows and I hang out down. Like, it's not usually the songbirds, but these guys were just... Yikes.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Our backyard is a haven for all of the birds. We like feed them. So there's little songbirds and we feed the blue jays. And then the crows are just...
Blue jays are so pretty, but they sound terrible and they're dicks.
Yeah.
Like... They steal eggs from other birds' nests. Like, they're just awful. Like, they're terrible. But I think they're so pretty that I'm like,
I just
you can stay.
That they do that. Like, can't you guys just leave each other alone?
You know who else is beautiful but are real asshole birds? Are magpies.
Oh, they are pretty.
But they're not very nice birds.
Yeah, they're even worse than...
They're worse than the blue jays almost. But they're gorgeous, though. I love magpies.
Yeah, they are really pretty. And I've always thought that. I'm like, why does everyone hate them? And then as I grew up, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're mean.
Yeah. But yet part of me is like, I love you though. Like,
right.
You know what a beautiful bird is? Oh my God, what are they called? Oh, grackles.
Oh, I don't even know.
My parents have grackles. They're like mini crows. They're like these tiny little black birds, but they have like a bluey kind of sheen to them and like these yellow eyes. Like, they're so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I just like grackle. I just love all birds. There's like these ducks at the pond. And me and my partner just go feed them all the time. Take some bird seed. Oh, just love birds. They're the best. Yeah. And like ducks obviously aren't the same kind of category as like ravens. But they're just so goofy.
I love ducks.
They just waddle around and quack. Like, I could cry thinking about them. Do you know so cute?
Do you know what I used to be around so much around here? Like everywhere. They were everywhere and now they're gone. Are loons. Like, I remember growing up at the cabin in the summertime, and at night you'd hear the loon call. And it was the most peaceful thing. And they're so pretty and they're gorgeous, but you don't hear them around here anymore. No. I don't know what happened to them. We have to
go on that hike. There's something like that one that I always do.
Yeah.
You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm like always posting about this little hike that I'm on. And I don't know what it is about that place. I swear that I manifested or it only exists in this new dimension we're living in, because I don't remember it always being there. That's just my memory. But anyway, it's like, it just feels really sacred. Like, there's loons on the water really first thing in the morning. You can hear them call out. There's like ducks and geese. That's where I've seen the owls. I've seen deer out there. Like, it's just awesome. So we'll have to go sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I miss the loons.
Oh, they're the best.
I'm going to just, you know what? I'm going to download loon calls. Because they're to fall asleep with, they're so cool.
That sound has got to be some sort of healing frequency because it's so nice.
Totally. So if you guys don't know what they sound like, it's kind of like, woo! I can't do it. But they're pretty good. Like, look it up. Like, just Google loon sounds. It's so peaceful and cool, but it's haunting in the same.
Yeah, because there's something, that is haunting. That's a really great way to describe it. Because there's only ever, like, when you see a loon, they don't hang out in like big parties like everybody else. It's like one, maybe two if you're lucky. So it's just one solo loon just like on the lake making these calls. And like usually there's no other birds around. Like,
there's a little bit of an echo and it's usually very peaceful and calm, but it's haunting.
Oh, it's so nice though.
I love it. Anyway, what are we actually talking about today?
Oh my God. Well, obviously there's a lot going on out there. So, we thought about talking about timelines and things like this, but it's kind of just like
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right because they're shifting so fast, right? So it's hard to just be like, oh, this is what's coming for sure.
There's lots of different timelines right now, but I feel like there's two definite convergences.
Oh yeah. General themes, yeah.
Like there's like a big split happening right now.
Yeah. Big split. And like a lot of the people, you know, listening to this and that have been doing their healing work and are into the intuitive worlds, God, it's just a roller coaster for us right now because we're trying to settle into our energies in order to basically be prepared for when the normies freak out. So we've been freaking out for the past couple of years or however long it's been for you.
Well, the last 6 months have been pretty intense.
6 months for sure.
Which is funny, which is exactly what all my, like when I think about them, last year's year ahead reading, the first 6 months were like...
True. Now we're in July, so let's hope it starts to level out for us. I feel like it's coming as soon as fucking Cancer season gets its shit together.
I don't know. I feel like halfway through the month, it's like, I feel like this month is kind of like we even out. And then next month to fall is when the normies start losing their shit. That's just how it feels.
Yeah. So basically, we have to level our shit out because someone has to hold the calm energy in the chaos. We are called to be the calm in the chaos. And for us, it's not going to be chaos for us, right? We already did that, been there, done that. And it's going to feel really
it's going to be a chaos in a different manner.
It's going to be like, if you're a healer out there, like you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Like people are going to start coming your way and being like, we need alternative ways. We don't trust the old systems. We're waking up in mass numbers. So now
we don't understand what's happening to us. Yeah.
So that's why we're called right now to level our shit out, get our systems, get our calendars, get our programs in place because they kind of need to be. So yeah, I've been going through that. And it's just so stupid. It's like so many things. It's not that I ever was like, I'm healed. I figured everything out. But I was like, no, I got a pretty good grip on shit. And now I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have a grip on anything. But it's just like, again, I know it's just the messy part before it like stabilizes. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on cosmically.
Yeah. So, I feel pretty grounded right now. But again, I think it's because we're in Cancer season and I'm Cancer rising that I'm like, I feel very settled and I feel motivated. I wasn't for a long time. And now I'm like, oh, yes. You know?
I feel I'm like keeping my head above water. And then if there's one little slitch of wind that pulls a wave I wasn't ready for, I'm drowning.
And I'm just like, bring it, bitches. Like, that's how I feel. But of course, we're opposites.
Fuck, of course. Yeah, no doubt we are opposites. Holy shit. But I still can't believe every once in a while I'm like, is this podcast going to make it? Like, because it's doing really well.
Oh my God, you guys.
We love you.
We do. And we've been getting some pretty fucking awesome feedback from you guys.
Yes.
I gotta say.
Oh yeah, and thanks for that. It just makes our day. Because I think, I don't know how you feel. Yeah, it's the same. We talked about it last episode. Like, I'm just like, do people really want to hear what we have to say? Like,
apparently.
Yeah, which is awesome. But then every once in a while I'm like, is this for real? And then I think about like how Randy and I connected and both being born at the exact same time, but then also
both in fire seasons.
And like I'm an Aries, you're a Leo.
Yeah.
And then we both have the moons and the risings that are almost like just very contradictory to our fire outside. And it's just, I'm like, yeah, there's no way this isn't divine. Like,
yeah, this was clearly orchestrated.
Yes, 100%. I don't even know why I brought that up. I can't remember. But anyway, today we are talking about not necessarily the timelines because it doesn't really matter. Like, we're going to be in it no matter what. So we thought we would instead talk about like how to just navigate it and level it out. And lots of the things that have come up are like intuition, trusting yourself. Like what we talked about, getting in tandem with the moon. Yeah.
Tracking your emotions, I think is, which is fitting for Cancer season, really.
Yeah.
But it's very, it's important, but it's also very telling, and it's going to be a cheat for you.
Yeah.
Right? And I used to think that was bullshit. I did. I used to be like, come on, like whatever. Your emotions are, stupid. But it's like, oh, no. It's not stupid. They actually do go in cycles.
Yes. And I have, like, it doesn't all, like, the moon doesn't always come up for me as something really relevant, but I've been working with clients, and it's been coming up for a couple of clients here or there that, like, we aren't meant to just do this, have the same routine every day in, day out. Like, we have to be looking to the moon to guide us through cycles of play, through cycles of working hard, through cycles of harvest, through cycles of rest. And like we have just talked about it sometimes too. Like, I am just straight overwhelmed or like useless around the full moon. Like, so I need to be careful that I'm not overbooking clients, because I just do not have the mental headspace. And I actually love the full moon. I don't find it's not that I can't do anything. It's that there's a very large lack of focus.
That's how I am at new moons. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just can't do it. So I try not to work really hard around that time, because it's not serving anybody, right?
Right.
Overriding your emotions and what you need in each moment is not helpful to anyone.
No, absolutely not. However, if you completely ignore them either, how am I going to put this? Fuck. There can be, and our ego plays a part in this, but there's a very big disconnect between what our mind tells us and what our soul, emotions, and intuition tells us. And we can if we're not in tune with that side, like, we're just going to go ahead and shut that down, which is something I did for years. Because you got to be quote unquote strong. Wah, wah.
Yes.
Then you're just listening to your head. And let me tell you, that is a very big problem.
Yep.
A very big problem. One of the things that have been coming up in a lot of the readings that I'm doing right now, and I think it was a big theme, actually, because I have a 6 month ahead summer reading check-in right now. And the theme of that seems to be, now that I'm thinking of it, like awakening and intuition. But you have to be awake enough to your intuition. I feel like right now there's a very big manifesting, how am I going to put this? It's a very strong manifesting time. And it's a very strong intuition. Like, the month of July, Cancer season, right, is very, like, it's water. I think Cancer might even be ruled by the moon. Don't come at me if that's wrong.
It's true.
But this is the time. This is peak intuition time.
Whoa, what the fuck? That's crazy. We were, like, told by our guides that we need to talk about intuition in the moon, and we definitely did not plug that into Cancer season. And then randomly, I just decided to bring up at the beginning how I'm struggling through Cancer season, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely ruled by the moon. And the moon's very intuitive, and it's like the Cancer is like the archetype of, like, the mother. Yes. So the woman, right? Like, very intuitive, very in tune with the cycles. Yes.
Very much so. But you got to be careful, because our mind will shut down your intuition any day of the week.
Yeah.
If you allow it to. Because it does not, your mind, here's my problem when people, like, praise intellect. Because yes, it's very important to a degree. But your mind is a tricky motherfucker.
Yep.
And it will snow you like nobody's business.
And logic always has to come at the expense of intuition. They are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, you want to hit somewhere in the middle, or, like, tuning into, like, both.
But I feel like logic is very...
Logic in the way that we're taught traditionally.
Yeah.
Not our soul compass logic, but when you move into, like, the societal logic.
Yeah.
Or this is what I've been taught, or this is what my generations have been doing. That is at the opposite spectrum of intuition.
I couldn't think of the word I was trying to think of. Subjective. Yeah. Logic is subjective. Right? So we got to remember that, which is very tricky. Because we will fuck ourselves over. Especially if it's like your intuition's telling you something completely opposite than when logic tries to tell you. And you're like, why do I feel so drawn to do this or say this or believe this when no, because I, air quotes, know that it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Truths are very, like, I feel like that's where we're at right now.
And actually,
it's like truths are knocking heads here big time. It's like the
that
horns
is so
are
true.
locking. And it's like, oh, well, you got to decide who's going to win this one. Is it going to be intuition or is it going to be like your conditioning?
Fuck, that's so true. Because I was like talking to my spirit guide and I was like, okay, like what's wrong here? Like, what am I doing to delay me moving through this? Because I want to just wrap it up and like, let's go. But I want the integration to take place. So they actually said to me that it is a form of self-emotional abuse to constantly ignore your emotions, ignore your intuitive pull to something and go with what you like know or think you should do. And this is so relevant because it's exactly what happened to me this week. You know, it's summer, it was like the long weekend and there's people pulling me in all these different directions and we're in the heat wave. So like I really wanted to be at the lake. I love water. So, but I had a family barbecue and then my partner's friends had invited us to do something. And then I was just kind of like, man, I really wanted to go to the lake. That's where I wanted to be. But instead, I like overrided my emotions and my pull to what I wanted. And I went to the family barbecue, which was actually, there was nothing wrong with it. It was a good time. But it's like, they were like, that's what we're talking about. These are the lessons that you need to learn, that like what you're expected to do and how you're expected to behave is not serving you. You're overriding your intuition. You're overriding your soul screaming at you. Like, just fucking stop.
And it's fine. Like, sure, it's fine. But what if you had listened?
I probably had the best fucking day.
Yeah.
And it was still a good day, but
I think that's how we get stuck.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's like, well, it was fine. I didn't listen to my intuition or whatever. And see, it was a good time. Like I still had fun. Like it's fine. And that's how we trick ourselves into, oh, see, if I don't listen, it's not a big deal. But if you don't start listening to yourself for the small things, then when it comes to the big things and you ignore it, that's when it's going to hit you.
Exactly. And it's just, is that like really a way that you want to live your life? And you know what? I was so good at this when I was single. Like when I was single, I was just like, I was so free. I didn't care. And I was like, obviously the healthiest I'd ever been mentally, emotionally, physically. It was great. And then I don't know, like obviously I have lots of imprints about expectations in a relationship. And also I have lots of like, my parents are probably the most fucked up relationship I even know in this day. It doesn't even make any sense. So I have all these like fears and imprints about how these relationships need to be. And I just like didn't want to become my parents so badly that and this is like, right, I was 24 when I got into this relationship. So it's been almost 7 years. And it's like, I created all these things to protect myself. And it has done nothing but disserve me.
Well, you overcompensated.
Yeah, I did the fucking pendulum swing in the wrong direction. And now I'm trying to pull it into center gravity. But it's like, my partner doesn't even care. Like, I mean, he does. But he sees it and is trying to get me to move into the back. It's like, but I'm having a hard time.
But that's conditioning though.
Yeah. And then you know what? I tell my clients too, like, if you do what you like, change is uncomfortable. You've never done that before. You have never walked in those shoes before. So you feel like you have no idea what you're doing, no idea how to be there. But if it feels wrong and weird, you're doing it right. It should feel weird and wrong. It should feel uncomfortable because you've never done it that way before.
Exactly.
So just keep walking, keep going. And like, I'm obviously going through, like, I'm hitting since, December till, no, not even December. I'd say since March until now. It's been like a new thing I realized I have to undo. So I feel like I'm in like the speed processor here. Like they were like, yeah, you've been fucking around for your whole life. And now you have this little tiny window to figure it out. And I'm like, oh God. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it because the longer you keep walking down that wrong road, the harder it is to start putting on the shoes that don't fit and walk the other way.
Yeah.
It's just...
Not to say that's not possible.
It's just hard.
You can always course correct, but what's going to make your life easiest? And if you ignore it, then there comes a time when here comes the tower moment, I like to call it. Like in the tarot, you have the tower card that comes in and breaks down your foundations, and it's like blows up your life. So I guess the question that you need to ask yourself is, do you want to get to that point? Do you want to leave it to the point where your life just blows up and then you're truly fucked and you got to put it all together and it prolongs it even more? Or do you just want to, put on those uncomfortable shoes and grow into them?
That's so true. And I mean, that is one thing that I have to give like myself credit for, or maybe my really helpful spirit guides credit for. But like, they don't let me destroy my life before I've heard the message. They just fucking torture me emotionally, or I torture myself emotionally to the point where I'm just like bursting and I'm like, something has got to change. But I've hit some bad moments, right? It has to get bad enough before I'm willing to look at something, but it's just like I haven't.
You're so lucky.
Oh my God. I don't want to say lucky because I'm obviously listening.
Yeah. But I mean, like, my guides just leave me be until I get to the point where, oh my God. Like, yours are helpful. Mine are not. You guys, mine are not. They're so, I don't want to call them lazy, but they're very like,
But you know what? I ask for their help often. When I first started awakening, I didn't know, but now it's like I'm constantly like, what's going on? And they actually are starting to give me, they gave me like a blackout for a little while. They were like, we're not going to help you because you got to figure this out on your own. And now I feel like they're like, oh, okay, you've done enough work. We'll help you again. But they operate under free will just like anyone else. So if you don't tell them to help you or give you something, then usually they're like, oh, whatever, play baseball by yourself. And then I'm like, can you guys just get on the field already? And they're like, I guess so.
Yeah, I ask and they're like, you're doing good. You're doing fine. Like, they're super like supportive.
I feel they give you a penny or something, like a dime. And then my guys are like, here's a bag of gold. And I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks.
They're like, go on, keep going. You're doing good. You know, like, it reminds me of like little, like when you're a kid and you're learning to ride a bike and they're like, keep going, sweetheart. You're doing so good. Keep doing it. Like, I feel like they're that. And meanwhile, they're like, oh my God. It's going to take her forever.
I have to be honest with you. I feel like with me, I have spirit guides on like every side of the bike and they got their hands on the back. And anytime I get wobbly, they're like, fuck, get on the course. But I still don't really understand why they're this helpful, but I've asked one time and there's like, okay, well, you asked for this. You wanted all the help you could get because you really just wanted to get this right. But then they've also given me stuff like, I was in hypnosis once. And if you listen back, I'd already come to Earth one time and incarnated a whole bunch. And I was just, it was really hard and it didn't go well. And then I was and it sounds like you're just like bragging, but I seen it in hypnosis. And why would I make this up? There was some little Yoda looking dude who came up to me and he's like, you have to go back. And I was like, no, I'm good. I already did that. He's like, no, you really should go back. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And then anyway, it's on free will. You can't be sent back. You have to agree to. So I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, they can handle it. I don't want to go. I already did that. I learned my lesson. I'm like, no. And anyway, he shows me videos of what's happening on Earth. And he shows me like the people and I'm like, well, that's their fucking problem. But then he shows me the animals and I'm like, oh. And then he shows me like the planet itself. And I was like, oh. It's like, fuck, let's do it. But I remember I was kind of like, I'm like not fucking this up. Like, I am not wasting time. Let's just do it. So I feel like in hypnosis, they were like, you picked your spirit guides because they were going to be helpful. But secondly, like, we know you were kind of like pushed into it a little bit. So
they're like, we're going to go easy on you because we know you really didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of the message I got. But I feel like you don't want to be here either. But no. I feel like to me, this is how I see you. Like, I feel like you don't really give a flying fuck about like what's going on out there, but you actually care about like the animals and plants too.
Yeah.
And the earth, but like the people causing havoc to that, it's people, right? So it's like probably a lot of you guys on the other end too, like kind of are like the general consensus in the cosmos is humanity is like the bad cousin, and everyone's kind of just like shaking their head like, we don't get you guys at all.
Look, it's the drunk uncle who's inappropriate at the wedding.
Exactly. So there's kind of like a disconnect there between the cosmos and humanity, but there's a really, really strong love for the planet for the other species that live here. And like, we're all interconnected, right? So they can't just shake their head, oh, mother's gonna implode. They're like, oh, yeah, this will affect everybody. We need to stop it. So a lot of us aren't here because we like want humanity to be awesome. We're here because we need to mitigate what's coming or what's going on and stopping it. So
yeah,
that was what got me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I don't know how I got here. I'm pretty sure I was just voluntold and I was like, well, fuck, let's just get it over with then.
Yeah. And I feel like you were voluntold on the first effect and then you've just been here kind of ever since.
Where it's just like, and I've been like, I got a lot of back-to-back lives.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen a few, like it's like I was here in the 70s, I was here in the 50s. Like, well, obviously, like I died in the 50s and then, you know, or 50s, 60s, and then came back like away. And then I died again in the 70s. Like it was like
me too.
It was like back to back to back to back. Cause I'm like, just get this over with. Let's just keep going. Let's just get it over with and like just be done.
Me too. Yeah, I have back-to-back ones. Yeah, well, actually, no, I took a little bit of gap. I think I died in 1974 and I came back in 1990. So I took a gap there.
What year would I have died? I think it was 75.
It's crazy that Randy and I, if you listen back to our past lives one, we both lived in the 70s, but we were on opposite ends of the country. I think you were like in New York, and I was in California.
Yeah.
I was there for like the protesting and stuff, like the 60s. Like I was
burning the bras and
I was like a hippie. But I was an angry hippie. Like I'm not like necessarily, I mean, I do really believe in peace and love, I think. But we're working on it.
Yeah.
But I'm like a fiery hippie. I was a fiery hippie.
You were like, fuck this war. Yeah. Whereas I was super young.
Yeah, I think I died when I was like early 30s.
Oh, I was like early 20s. I was maybe 22, 23.
Oh yeah, you killed yourself?
Yeah, I killed myself.
I was murdered.
Yeah, no, but I still remember, I can feel what that body felt like.
I can't see what mine looked like in that lifetime.
I wish I still looked like I looked in that lifetime.
Manifest it, man.
Like,
manifest that shit.
So here's the thing about, we are so off topic. Have you noticed? Like, whatever.
It always syncs up. It's always useful. It's always something.
But it like my body, ever since I was little, like even in dance classes or stuff, like I don't know, like my body, even when I was like stick thin, because I was a very stick thin child, they used to call me a biafran. But my body felt heavy. Like it's always felt like it's just like I'm in a big lead.
Because you were a model, right?
Oh yeah, I was like, I weighed nothing, and like my body was so light.
In her past life.
In my past life, in like the one in the 70s, and this like just everything feels so heavy. Maybe because they needed to ground me, so that I didn't like, whatever, I'm out, you know, and.
Oh yeah, because you're a Leo. So imagine if you're walking around like a model in this lifetime. Probably wouldn't get anything done.
No, I'd be like, my ego would be 100% like in the driver's seat. And I would totally forget the mission, why I'm here. It would be like, kiss my feet, fuck you.
But that's why
I'm the shit.
This is, you know, my spirit guides have told me some of the things they've trapped me with because I would get carried away. Mm-hmm. So I think that as soon as you can integrate the importance and your mission, then you can start to manifest those other things. Because I don't think we have to accept our fate. Like, we have free will. If you want to fucking be a model again, fucking be a model. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. And see, that's one of the things I'm learning this time. This is you got to get over being seen. Because I use it as an excuse. Right. So get this. Right when I really kind of started awakening.
Right.
Or I think it would have kind of, like, I've always kind of been awake my whole life, but like as an adult, started to see little notices of shifts that I kept ignoring. And this is how it blew up in my face. But I gained 30 pounds basically overnight. And then it like I kept gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. And no matter what I did, I couldn't lose it. Mm-hmm. And yes, part of that is like early menopause, and that's like a family trait. But I'm like, okay, so what is it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I need to be seen no matter what.
Right.
That is my,
yeah.
you know,
okay,
so it's like, okay, well,
But I bet you $1 million, except don't shake on that because I don't know if I'll
Damn it, I got really excited there for a second.
But you know what? If I have $1 million to give away one day, I will. But I bet you $1 million, like as soon as you put yourself out there to be seen anyway, I bet it'll start to go the other way. Bet you'll go back.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is like because we all know how I feel about social media. If you have been following me, you know how I fucking feel about social media. We're not friends. But whenever I do a post with a picture of myself, those are always the best ones. And I'm like, well, I was really hoping it was going to go the other way. So it would prove me correct. You know?
Oh, that damn.
And really, YouTube is my best thing. My YouTube channel. Even though you only see my hands, you still see me.
True.
And I am in, Keith looked at my stats. And even though like I don't have a whole buck ton of subscribers, I'm still in the top 10% of YouTubers.
Really?
I think because of the time and the growth, like there's a bunch of different factors.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
Because a lot of people
don't. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Because a lot of people because I have over 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't get that for like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been just
and like that's
over
just
a year.
Subscribers. Like most people don't subscribe, right?
No.
They just watch the videos all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool.
And that's continuing to grow right now too. So
imagine if you put your face on there, what would happen?
Stay tuned. My Authentic Truth Within channel is going to be starting soon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Fucking lessons in karma, goddamn. I actually tried. Did you ever try to find out who you were in that life and look? Because if you're a model, like,
I wasn't famous.
Oh, were you like in photos or like runway or like what kind of modeling did you?
I was a magazine.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And before that even took off, I killed myself.
Right, because you're 22.
I was just a baby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 22. And then what time was I born? The next time I incarnated.
2:22 a.m.
Fucking right.
That's the time I was born at too, but I don't know about I know I was killed and I wanted to, and then the person who killed me hung themselves later. So I was like, oh, there's gotta be some record of this. And I was like, 1974. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is where I lived, but no, I couldn't find myself. Rats.
I didn't even try.
Yeah, I was like, I want to see, but I there's not enough information to get to where I was going. But anyway. Oh, yeah.
It is fascinating, though.
It's so cool. And then you know what? Like, the craziest thing, when I look back at that life, like, it was, you know, I obviously had a rough ending, right? And so did you. But, like, it doesn't matter. I was like, that was a fucking good life. Like, I loved when I was in the streets, like, fighting for rights. And then and it's like, so even right now, when we're, like, struggling and trying to figure out what we want to do, it's like, you're going to look back and be like, that was kind of cool. That was good.
Yeah. I think so.
Like, I don't
totally fair.
have any like quarrels about that life. And you know what's crazy? When I was born in this life, I was so young. And I think I said this in an earlier podcast. We're telling my mom I was going to get arrested for protesting. I was going to go to jail for protesting. And I was like 10. She was like, okay. And I grew up on the farm. We didn't even have TV. So I don't know where I got this idea from. And then now I'm like, oh,
now
I was arrested for protesting once already.
Yeah. I thought it was going to happen this time. It turns out already happened.
Yeah. And I was obsessed with the 60s. Like, I have like Forrest Gump. I love that movie, but I don't even love the movie. I just love watching like, whatever, Jenny and her party.
Jenny.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like,
yeah,
that's kind of like my life though. How it was, only I wasn't high on heroin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think I always wondered, like, did I do a lot of hard drugs in the 60s or no?
I think you did.
I don't think I did heroin. I hope I didn't do
No,
heroin,
I think you were like a straight up like mushrooms and weed type of girl.
Probably, yeah.
In the 60s.
I think so, because I was like in my early 30s and I was just like...
I feel you very like free love.
Yeah, and I was really like just freedom. I didn't have a partner. I lived by myself. I think I had a good job though. I was like a respectable person. I had money at the end of that lifetime. Yeah. But I had no attachments, which is why I struggle so bad with attachments in this life. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, everybody.
Yeah. So funny. So like when I told you I was that housewife, right? In the 50s?
Yes.
But I was like older, like my kids were all grown and I had grandkids. I just realized, because I've always been really drawn to the 40s.
I'm really drawn to the 50s. But I think my mom was a really beautiful 50s lady in that life.
I would have been like that would have been prime, like young. I would have been like if I died in the like
40s.
early 60s.
Gotta look up this aesthetic.
I would have been like, or I mean, no, because I was like, I think I died. I was like maybe in my early 50s when I passed away. But that would have been like, I would have been prime, like you go out dancing and you know.
Oh, yeah. With like the poodle dresses.
Like,
oh my
the
God.
big band.
So cute. Yeah.
Like I love big band music.
Oh my God.
I'm that person.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But I just put that together now. Why
Cool.
I love like swing dancing and big band.
I have always loved the 1950s, but in that lifetime, I would have been just a little kid in the 50s. And I think I can see my mom, and she was really beautiful, and she wore like, she had her hair in those curls and like the big like bow on her head, and she was really like, she wore beautiful dresses and was really like primped all the time. So I remember just being like, wow, I love this style, but I never really lived in it.
Yeah.
I guess I would have been a teen or like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, I was younger than 22 when I died.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was like 74 or 76 I died. I want to say 76 because it was a very quick turnaround. So, yeah, and I would have probably been 56. I probably would have been born. Yeah, so I literally died and came right back. Yeah,
I believe that. Especially when you're on a mission. I've noticed some people, it just depends like what you're doing. But I mean, time isn't really real, right? So you could feel like you're on the other side for like decades.
And here's another thing that'll really bake your noodle. We all have multiple timelines too. Oh, fuck. So I very well could have been living simultaneous ones.
Oh yeah. I feel like I can't even explain it properly, but all of our past lives aren't really in the past. They're happening right now simultaneously. Yeah. We're just tuned into this channel right now. Mm-hmm. It's the best way I've ever heard it described. It's actually an infinity loop kind of thing. And it just goes around and around and around. And we just put our energy or our focus in whichever, like in this channel or this part of the infinity cycle. So it's all happening all the time.
Simultaneously.
And then when I try to think about how karma works, I'm like, I get it, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like, your higher self is like obviously aware of what's going on, and you shift something in this life and it sort of shifts something in that life. And then it's like, it's just, fuck, is it ever bizarre?
I remember when I was 13. Oh my God, this is so off topic and I don't even care. But I was 13 and I was trying to explain this concept to my friends who did not get this, by the way. They looked at me like I was a fucking nut job. But I was like, okay, so you guys, I was like, I want you to think of 3 different circles. It's like the middle, the next rung, and the next rung. And then there's a little ball on each of these circles that are kind of going around, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, but the circles are like super close together. So every now and again, the ball will ding the other line.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys, it's like all happening at the same time. And then when it dings our line, that's our deja vu.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, what?
Yeah, wow.
And I was like,
such a great description.
But I was like, you guys, it's all happening at the same time. It's just the ball is either further ahead or behind, or, and they were like, what?
No, it's like, it doesn't, but you know what? You don't have to wrap your head around it. It doesn't have to make sense. If we were supposed to be aware of all the different versions of ourselves now, we would be aware of it. So just stay in your fucking lane and keep going. But for some reason, knowing about those different timelines helps me like not prolong my healing and not prolong my success, because I'm like, I want Kayla and the other timelines to figure it out too. Like, let's do this.
Yeah. And this is how I would describe quantum leaping. You jump from one ball to the next in that scenario.
And then if you really want, well, I don't even know, like, it's like we have parallel lives going on. So there's like Kayla and like Elizabeth and all these other people living their lives. But then there's also like multi-timelines of Kayla.
Yep.
Like there's like so.
And Elizabeth and Joan and Michael and whoever else you were.
There's different versions of Kayla out there. Just fucking. And anytime you make a choice, there's a part of you that will see both outcomes. So if you're like, oh, I should leave it, like for me, I should leave that toxic job. There's a version of me somewhere still at that shitty job, hating herself. And there's probably a version of me that's like living her best life in Mexico or something already. And I'm like, fuck, I want to get on the highest one. So when I'm faced with a choice, sometimes I just tell myself that. It's like, what do you want your timeline to be? Because one of you is going both ways. Just fucking, Kayla, the one that you're aware of right now, be fucking focused on the best one.
Yeah. But to tie it all in, you have to be super in tune with yourself in order to see those outcomes.
Yes. And you know what I've also heard, so as we hit ascension, and when we actually jump into 5D and are fully grounded in it, apparently we have to close out all of our other timelines. Only one version of us hits 5D.
That makes total sense.
So if you're feeling a lot of the Mandela effect right now,
oh my God,
you're closing in, right? So there's the Mandela effect where it's like, oh, there's one person where Mandela was killed in prison a long time ago, and there's one where he was released from prison or whatever. It's like, it's because you're closing in to get to 5D. So they're all shuffling. So like your memories are kind of amalgamating, and it's very confusing.
Which do you remember?
Him getting killed in prison?
Me too. And Berenstain Bears or Berenstein Bears? Or Steen, I guess.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, you were a little young when those books came out. But to me, it was Berenstein, like Stein.
Yeah.
But now it's Stain.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah, Berenstain Bears. I remember that.
Yeah, the Berenstain Bears, like the TV show, and it was even Berenstein.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Let us know in social media and stuff what you remember.
Yeah. What kind of weird memories do you have that are all fucked up right now?
Do you ever go down that rabbit hole of the Mandela effect and see all the different things? And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
It's so weird.
It's so fucked, and I love it.
Me too.
But it scares the crap out of me, kind of.
I know, because you're like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know about you, but like, I'm always like this, but particularly right about now, I have just been craving. It's like my soul needs water. And I like to drink, to sit in, to just be by. Like I need water.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, why? Like I kind of like, I want to have like 4 showers a day just because of the water.
Right.
You know? So I'm kind of like, what's that about?
I know. I feel like I'm always like that.
Actually, me too.
But this hot weather has got me, really like keyed up about it. I'm like, I really need this. And it's like got me thinking about like moving and getting an apartment somewhere in the mountains by a lake. And I'm just like, like I got to do this. And it's like just it's like unhealthy. And then I don't know. I don't know what it's all about, but very cleansing, I guess.
Yeah. And I used to live like
definitely connected to the moon.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I lived in Victoria, it was like I lived close to the ocean, but it wasn't like right there. But it was like I knew it was there, and I was close to a marina, and it's a different vibe. So I'm kind of like, I need that. I need that so much right now. And then I'm thinking, okay, why is this so right now so elevated, right? I'm like, okay, what's coming up? What's coming up? Okay, we're in Cancer season. Okay, water season. Yeah, I can see that. Ruled by the moon. I can see that too. But we're coming up on a new moon here right away. I don't know what date this comes out, so I can't even tell you, but it's going to be pretty close, I would think. And I think next week, maybe, by the time this comes out, is the new moon. And I get super crabby and just like almost anxious and just on edge around new moons. And I know that's supposed to be the moon where it's like, you bring in new things. Like it's also known as the dark moon because you don't see it in the sky, right? Because it's not there, like it's brand new. So like the day of the new moon, quote unquote, is actually the dark moon, and then the new moon kind of is like the next day, right? But that dark moon, knowing me, I would be like, oh yeah, that must be when you thrive, because that's when new beginnings are, right? That's when you start to use and manifest. Okay, I'm going to use the new moon to bring in new things. That does not work for me, people. It does not work. And the full moon is supposed to be, okay, we're releasing things that no longer serve us. It's come full circle, full moon, full circle, release.
Yep.
I tend to work the opposite way.
Interesting.
New moons for me is the releasing time because that's how it works best for me. But it's like maybe because, I don't know, it's all in the dark and I need to release it or whatever. Yeah. It's keeping me in the dark, I think is how I see it.
That makes sense.
And of course I'm crabby because we're in the shadow, right? It's dark. That's when I feel like my shadow side, my ego fucking kicks in and I'm just a fucking
That is so
bitch.
Interesting. Yeah, that is so cool.
But 99% of people are the opposite of me.
100%, yeah.
Like my mom at the end of, like when we come up to a full moon, she's just like, oh, I'm just tired and I don't know why I'm in such a bad mood. And I'm like, because we're close to a full moon. She's like, oh. Like I've started to kind of teach her how she like, start paying attention around the moons, Mom. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, and assessing. Yeah, for sure.
It's huge. Like my husband, you guys, did not believe in this. Like I was like, track your moods, man, track your moods. And he was like, that's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And then we were talking about like the science of stuff. And it was like, well, your body's 70% water. The water reacts to the moon. The tides go in and out by the moon. Well, your emotions do that too. So he was like, oh. And then of course, I think Sadhguru said something about it. And then he could accept it because Sadhguru had my back on it. So, like.
Exactly.
It's just funny, but it's true though.
Exactly. And I actually so speaking of all these like other things that are affecting us, I actually was talking to my friend who does astrology and we have to have her on this podcast. And she said something to me because I was just talking about like, we were just having a conversation and I was like, I'm like fucking going through it. Like things have been really hard. And then I was talking about like, just, I don't know what the planets are doing, but it's really affecting me. And I really do believe in free will. I believe that we are the powerful manifestors of our life and we don't need to necessarily give life to these kinds of things if we don't want to, but it's really helpful when you do start to move in tandem with things. The powers are above us. The energies are hovering above us. And she said, we give life to what's happening above through our choices. So that works like for us and against us, right? So we don't want to blame the moon and we don't want to say, oh, this is why. The energies are there and then we're feeding it life because we still have free will. We're not at the mercy of the planets and moons and all these things. No,
but it's so much easier when you use the power to your own advantage.
Exactly. So that's where it works in our favor. But then like right now I'm drowning over here I'm a fire element, drowning in Cancer emotions. I'm having a hard time. And it's like, she kind of just like, she didn't call me out, but she was like, the planets aren't forcing you to do anything. You're giving life to those energies and you choose how long you're going to sit in that pool. Yeah. So it's like, right? Use it to your advantage, but don't wallow in your sadness when it's not like, when you're hitting that full mood of anger, full moon and you're angry or the new moon, like just feel it and move on. Like obviously it's easier said than done because I'm fucking drowning in the Cancer river right now.
Yeah. But you can use that.
Yeah. But I just wanted to just highlight that it is free will. We're not like we're not like puppets down here massing around with the moon and stuff like that. But why not use it to your advantage?
And that's just it. So like I really started I never would have known that I was backwards to most people if I hadn't started keeping track.
Exactly.
So like when I would do my full moon rituals, and that's supposed to be the release ritual, it's like it wouldn't really work. But when I started doing release rituals on the new moon, then I felt what everyone was describing on the full moon. I felt lighter. I felt okay. I feel like this is like this works for me. And then I would manifest on a full moon, whereas everyone's the opposite, right?
Right. That's true.
So if I hadn't practiced that or tracked that, I wouldn't know what works for me. So I'm like, aha. So I know, like, let's say I'm going to launch a new video series on my YouTube channel. Like for instance, my Authentic Truth Within. I might not launch it at the full moon, but I will start recording on the full moon.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, because I know I work better and I have more energy for those types of things. And my mind works like, oh, I'm getting inspired and stuff. It's so much easier to do it then versus the new moon. this is just an example. It can be anytime, but where I'm like, oh, this is a tassel and I need to get it done, but fuck me. It's not, and people aren't going to be as receptive because that's going to be the energy that even if I come across great and wonderful, it's like for instance, Kayla last week at the podcast, she could have come on here and been like, hey guys, but she's like, fuck it, I'm going through it.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of honoring that.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what we're trying to get at with like the intuition and the moon. Like it doesn't even matter if you're paying attention to the moon cycles or not, but it's a really great calendar to base and use to track. But it's like, just honor those things. And like, we're not meant to be 9 to 5 workaholic bees that work and push through our sadness or push through our fears or push through whatever. We're supposed to honor those things. So if you can start to
whilst working through them.
Yeah. So just, like track it, pay attention, and then honor yourself, especially if you're, like if you know that you suck when the moon is full, don't put as much on your calendar that day, regardless if you're self-employed or fully employed. Like make it an easy breezy day for yourself. Like set yourself up. Maybe you're going to have, for me, I have like very little energy. Okay. It goes ramping up to the full moon. I'm just like a wildcat. I'm like, I want to fucking do everything. And I'm like pumped for life. Yeah. But then the full moon hits and it's like, whoa, bam. And then I start to crash. It's like the full moon hangover is what I call it. Yeah. So right after the full moon, I need to work. I don't need to be jam packing my calendar because I hate it. I'm rushing through it. I'm struggling. I don't want to talk about things. I'm easily like, I don't want to say like deflated. It just doesn't take very much to pop the balloon after the full moon. So like I shouldn't be trying to book with clients. I shouldn't be over trying to do this because they're not getting what they bargained for. And that's the same with everybody. Like, even just like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to do anything after the full moon. So if I know that, I'm able to just like do a little bit of meal prep and like have food in the freezer or whatever it is. And your life just gets so much easier.
There's just a different ease and flow to it.
Yes. And we manifest and we succeed in flow.
Exactly.
So why push against it? It's just creating friction and you're just going to push yourself farther away from where you want to go.
Like, why wouldn't you want to make your life easier?
Yeah.
Why would you want to be treading water the whole time when it doesn't have to be that? You can have a nice soak in the tub.
Yes, exactly. And there are some people lately in their Akashic record that's been like, track the moon. And it's not like your moon cycles. It's the moon cycles. And I mean, hopefully yours kind of like they sync up because that would be like, actually, it's not good. It just maximizes everything. Hopefully you're not completely synced up. But anyway, it's just like flow with you manifest in tandem with the moon. Some people literally do. It's not really common, but there's a few people out there that it's been like, follow the moon, follow the moon, follow the moon. Make your schedule in tandem with the moon because your manifestation just goes woof.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. So I'm going to get a little weird here and kind of backtracky. So we're stuck in a very masculine world, right? And I'm talking about the divine masculine energy. I'm not just talking about male, female thing. I'm talking about masculine energy. So like you need to work hard to survive and you need to do this. And it's like very, very strict and like, here are society's rules. And it's a very hardened energy is the best way I can describe it. Mm-hmm. And what do most people bitch and complain about? Oh, it's not sunny today. Oh, it's not this. Oh, it's not that. Well, the divine masculine is tied to the sun. So if we start to kind of flip and we want to tap more into our divine feminine side, because there's a divine feminine energy rising, whether you're male, female, or whatever you identify as, the divine feminine energy is rising. Mm-hmm. So the moon actually plays a bigger part than we're giving it credit for right now. Mm-hmm. Right? We're actually kind of getting that divine feminine energy from it. And the divine feminine, what's that about? Intuition, flow, ease, love, nurturing. What are all those? 5D qualities.
Yes. And like one of the things I've learned about the divine feminine energy that no one talks about, because just in my traditional construct, the mother figure in my household was very nurturing and supportive and like kept everything together. And I thought it was like giving. No, The divine feminine is receiving.
Yes.
We sit back and we receive the energies that come through. We feel them.
We feel nurtured.
And then we harmonize it. Instead, and like with the divine masculine, it's like very like invasive and like hard hitting and like go getting and like they like trudge through the energies,
which, don't get me wrong, does have its place.
Yeah, we need that. How are we gonna get anything done?
Like, but that's not what we need right now. The world, again, we're thinking that pendulum swing, it's too far that way.
Yes.
We're too entrenched, right? We need to soften it up. We need to be nicer.
And receiving our intuition and then feeling it and then harmonizing it and moving forward in that way. And that was my biggest lesson with divine masculine and feminine. And I was like, wow, I am not receiving my messages. I am not holding space for them and then transmuting it. I'm just trudging through it. And like Randy said, we're balancing. We're balancing into that. So it's getting harder to trudge through the energies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're fighting the shifts that are happening in our field, like in the quantum field, right? We're fighting it even more right now.
Yeah, we're fighting our flow.
It's heavier than ever.
Yeah.
Like I used to be, I could rampage through anything because I was really swayed into my divine masculine.
Yeah.
Like really swayed in. I could trudge through anything. I didn't even fucking notice. But now I'm starting to notice and feel. And like, is that partly an internal shift? I'm sure it is. But it's also right. We're getting those downloads from the moon. The energy from the moon is coming. So now trudging through that stuff feels so much harder. Feels so much more counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's muckier.
Yeah. And then it's just going to lead you to a burnout.
Totally.
You know, you're going to burn yourself up in that sunny masculine energy, and then you're going to implode and have nothing. Then you're going to have to start from ground zero, the tower moment.
Yeah, we're back to the tower moment. Oh, God. But honestly, though, there was something that you said that tweaked something, and now it's gone.
Oh, shit.
Damn it. Oh, well. Maybe that was just a personal message for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens.
Oh,
no, I know what it was.
Yay.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but a lot of people I've been talking to, like, and even like the semi-normies, I call them, the ones that are like kind of have an idea of this, but they're not really that into it, you know, like they'll be like, I've been having really weird dreams lately.
Fucking
or
right.
Like my sleep feels weird, or, you know, well, yeah, because you're getting downloads from the moon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
I've actually had some really big dreams too with lots of good messages. But thank God, because I really need the clarity.
That's why I'm doing those gateway meditations, because my husband has been doing them too, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm remembering my dreams more and stuff," because I have dreams. I know I have them. I like remember bits and pieces, so it's like me. Even by the time I go to grab a pen to write them down, like for a dream journal, I can't, because it's like this veil comes down in front of me, and it's fuzzy, and like it's like hard, like I can't reach through it and grab the other side. It's like I know it's there, but I can't reach it, and it's so frustrating, and and it hurts trying to like, what is it? But there's just something there that's like a barrier for me.
Man, I know. I know if I remember that it was really relevant that I do. And like, I was watching Divergent last night. I read all the books, and
I have to reread those.
I'm going to reread them. I'm going to reread them again. And I was like, so if you know Divergent, I would encourage you to rewatch that, because it looks exactly like what's happening right now, and I can't believe it. I was like, the lady who wrote this book's a fucking prophet, apparently. And then I was reading it, and I knew I was going to have good dreams last night. I was like, I'm going to remember these, because this is obviously like, why did I randomly feel inspired to watch this? I was like, this is like messages. But I couldn't remember my fucking dreams. I caught that like, it's like something you can't catch. You're like, no, come back.
And you're like, no. And then the door slams and it's locked, and you're like, fuck. But it's like a glass door, so you can see that it's right there, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't get it back this morning, and I was like, God damn it.
That's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating. But I have been having pretty good, memorable dreams, so.
God, I can't remember any of mine right now.
Yeah, I should do some more guided meditations, because I used to be really good at guiding myself in the meditation, but now it's been like a little bit aimless. I'm in there, I see my team, everyone's like, all right, what do you want to know? And I'm like,
I don't know.
What should I know? What should we be doing right now, guys? And they're like, you tell us. And I'm like, all right, we better just do some guided ones here.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I just, like, these gateway ones, of course, are from, they were declassified with, like, when that stuff from the government came out.
Like, I know this, but I can't remember.
And it was like how their team of remote viewers kind of started doing stuff. I don't know, like, all the things, but, like, I know it was
Did
from.
You send me these?
No.
You told me about them.
I'm going to, though.
You should send them to me.
But I can airdrop them to you on your phone, because it's easier that way.
Yeah.
Because to just send them, it's too hard. But anyway, but we, yeah, and they're weird.
Oh, cool. That's what I'm talking about.
And you have to have, like, you have to do it with earphones, because there's different, like, background frequencies and stuff that you hear through each, because it'll be like, you should be hearing my voice in your right ear right now. If you're not, flip them, because it has to do with, like, the right hemisphere of your brain and the left hemisphere of your brain, and like bringing them together. Like, it's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try these.
So I'm on 5 out of 7 or 6.
Ooh. Okay, I need this.
But I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna go back and do the first one. I'm gonna, like, I just want to kind of get through them and see what they all are, and then I'm gonna go back and do one, like, for 3 days in a row, then move up to 2 for 3 days, and then et cetera.
Yeah, I need to do that, because that's what when I was like, what do I need to do, guys? Another thing they said was, like, get your shit together. They were like, you need to be, like, exercising and releasing tension, but then meditating to reground yourself. And I'm like, why? And right now I'm doing lots of, like, body programs. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I also work with, like, clearing the body out of stuff. But it's really difficult and really intense for, like, both parties. So it's not just something that's sitting on my website available to book. But if you're interested, send me a message. It takes me 2 hours to prep for that client, which is an insane amount of time.
Yeah.
And then an hour to present, plus all the work that they have to do ahead of time. It's a lot. So anyway, I've been doing lots of body stuff. And each one of us, and I've mentioned, I think before, is a particular element, a particular combination of elements, let's say. And, like, so I'm really, like, focused on that right now, like, these physical things that people need to be doing to honor their energy. And it has nothing, for me, it has to do with exercise, because I have one of the worst elements that you could be. The worst combination of elements you could be.
Which would be what?
Fire. And wood, like the trees.
Oh.
So it's like fire needs to be constantly, like, enthused and, like, right, the passion, right? Like the lover, that I want to live, I want to go. And then they also need time to decompress, or they burn themselves alive in the sun. But then the wood energy gets burnt up by fire. Yeah. And that's my other one. So I can't handle stress. Like the wood is the tree. Forever go, 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 go. But they can't handle storms. They can't handle stress. They just snap.
And if you're not grounding yourself, you're fucked.
I'm so fucked. That is and then the earth element, who wants to be everything to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The worst combination.
Of course, you want to be everything to everybody except for yourself, and your fire side is like, just do you, boo.
Exactly. So we're fighting each other all the time. So, like, I'm trying to get these different things that I need to be doing, and it's just like a fucking shit show. But that's
I'm gonna have to get that done again.
Yeah, and now I get it more. I got lots of downloads. I started having dreams about it, and I was like, oh. And then that day when we met, I was just, like, overwhelmed. So I was like, okay, that's probably not the best day, so we should do it. Yeah. But it's really fascinating. So that's another part with intuition. Like, your soul is screaming at you that you can't. Your soul needs certain things to stay balanced, and every time we override them and, like, don't do meditations and sit down and ground. Like, grounding is huge. And, like, I used to hate meditation because I was a fire and wood. We can't sit still to save our fucking lives. But I couldn't hear shit. I was just trudging through the nonsense, burning myself alive and snapping. So it was just like, just listen. Just fucking listen.
What's metal?
Metal is the mountain. So they're like the flow. They are like the... So yeah, this is so funny. Breathing in of what serves you and nourishes you, and then exhaling anything else. So they're very, like, grounded in earth, but like very forever reaching to the north, staying on their lane. But like what screws them up is clutter, disjointed energies, things that aren't flowing. And then they just stress case because there's space. And then when they're hoarding stuff in their space, they're hoarding too many beliefs also that doesn't serve them.
That makes sense.
So cleaning your space is like cleaning your insides. It's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So fascinated.
It is. Okay. Well, I feel like that kind of summarizes pretty much where we wanted to go with that. So that's it for now. But you guys should join us on Patreon.
Oh, totally.
We have a lot of fun there.
We got a lot of cool little insights over there.
Yes. And like, let us, if you're like one of those people that's like dabbling and you're like, I kind of want to join, I kind of want to check it out. Let us know what you'd want to see there. Right?
Yeah.
Like maybe more stuff that's in depth, right? Like right now we're doing, the weekly message, what's coming up for the collective. We're doing like daily, it's card of the day, but what's up for,
the daily messages.
The weekly messages. We have a bonus episode that's way more like personal. Randy and I just talk about our lives and just make good jokes.
If you like the stories in these episodes, oh lordy, just go over there. It's like more personal stuff as well as like spiritual stuff.
Because it's so much more private. Like we're way more like raw and like gritty, I guess. Like, I don't know. I've put a few things on there I'd never say to many other people.
For reals.
But anyway, let us know what you'd be interested in having on that side. Like what's something you'd find of value?
Yeah. What would tip the scales?
Yeah. Just because we're curious. Like the idea of Patreon is to be able to offer more tailored information, more relevant information, more insights, right? But that's what Randy and I do for a living. So we have to be careful about our energy exchanges, right?
Right.
So,
and what we think, like, because we do so much for the collective, and we're like, oh, well, we've covered that. When in actuality, maybe we actually haven't.
Exactly.
So it's very easy for us to be like, oh, no, because it's just something we do every day that we forget.
Yes, exactly. So what would be of value to you? What would be something that you would want to know more about? Because I know for me, the things I pay for, like when I subscribe to other Patreons and other things, I want to know what the fuck's going on in the collective, what to expect. But that's just me. And then I also love like people that just like the fun, because I don't want to always be really like serious. It like freaks me out. I just get all like, doomsday.
Yeah. I'm all like, oh, I want to know like more about the people.
Yes.
I want to know about them. Are they my peeps? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which we do kind of all of that, which we just subscribed over on Patreon.
And community.
Community's big.
Like not feeling alone, feeling like you're a part of something. And people that feel connected to you. Like I'm part of a group online and I pay, I think it's like, and you get access to content too. It's just like Patreon, but it's like, you get like check-ins, there's like funny stuff going on. And then you get to hear how they're doing. And then there's like stuff you can just check into that's like channeled. So yeah, let us know. But yeah, join us, check it out. Link in our bio.
It's good stuff.
My personal page, this SSB page. Do you have it on your Authentic Truth Within?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, we have it linked everywhere. So check it out.
Pretty sure.
Just dabble.
Oh, maybe I do. Do I? I'll have to check with the tech guy.
The tech guy? Your husband?
Yeah, my husband. Because Lord knows I can't do that shit by myself.
Totally.
Oh my God, I'd smash my computer. But anyways, yes, do join us there.
It's fun. We have a fun time.
Just interact with us on social media. Just be our friends.
We don't want to feel alone either. This stuff sucks.
Yeah, and like we said, we're getting really great feedback from you guys, so keep that up. That's really great. Drop us a line too, like not even just on Patreon. What do you want to hear on the regular?
Yeah.
On the regular podcast, like on the reg.
On the reg. Yeah. I know. Yeah, let us know. It's so nice to get feedback because every time we get a piece of feedback, it's usually shared collectively. We'll hear the same thing a few times, and then we've really changed our direction based on that.
And you know what's funny is like we're always going to be like last week's was so long and we're like, oh fuck, no one's gonna listen to this, and then it's like, that was my favorite one so far, and I'm like, huh, cool.
Yeah, I was just telling Randy on break, I'm like, who the fuck listens for this long? And then I was like, wait, it doesn't feel like I've listened to our podcast. Yes, I'm finally listening.
Yeah.
It's like it just doesn't feel that long because it's like you're just hanging out with your friends bullshitting kind of thing, which
Absolutely.
is cool.
Totally.
But anyway, I'm trying to wrap it up, and here we are, just like
because that's what we do.
On more tangents.
Yes. But for reals, though, we'll leave it here. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. It always is.
Hope you got some insights. Do let us know. Like, let us know on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're following us. And if you're not, you should be. What you guys resonated with the most from this podcast?
Yes.
Like, what was like, oh, yeah, I feel that. So,
I agree.
And let us know, are you a new moon person or a full moon person? Like, which is your better time? Because we're opposites and we're curious.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, bitches. We'll talk to you next week on the next podcast.
Oh.
Bye-bye.